Oh my gosh, I can't believe this change that Amazon made. They're so greedy the way they treat sellers. Man, Jeff Bezos. What's up and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tim. If this is your first time here and you're interested in learning how to start and scale an Amazon business, you came to the right place. In the past 4+ years, I've sold over $60 million on Amazon, and in the past 12 months alone, over $20 million. So if you want to learn from someone who's credible, knows what they're talking about, is in the trenches, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and even leave a comment if you feel so inclined. All right, in today's video, we're going to talk about when Amazon rolls out changes. Now, Amazon is a constantly evolving platform, and it's the #1 most successful e-commerce platform out there. It's where over 50% of people do their shopping online. And because of that, like any business, they make changes. Now, the key thing that we're going to talk about in this video, though, is how changes that impact us as sellers, how do we handle them? All right. I'm going to show how I handle them and why I think it really serves me. And if you can also wrap your mind around this mindset, how it can really serve you too, and you will see how you succeed a lot more in your Amazon business, okay? Now, some changes that Amazon has rolled out over the past while. I'm just gonna name a couple. 1, you used to be able to look into your orders and see who the customers are. Like you'd actually be able to see what their addresses are, and you could actually make a list of all your customers that you made making sales, all right? They made it so that you can almost not find that at all, and if you can, it's very hard to do, all right? But let's say for large majority, you can't find that in. They've hidden it, okay? One change. Another change that's more recent is how they allocate how much inventory you're allowed to have at an Amazon warehouse. Now, before, you could just send in hordes of inventory and they wouldn't care. And if you kept it there too long, then you get charged higher storage fees. But now they have capped limits on how much storage space you're allowed to have. Like for example, for a new seller, you can send in like 1,000 units from the start. An account like mine, I can send in over 110,000 standard size units and let's say 20 to 30,000 of oversized units. But there's a cap now. Before it was limitless, all right? Now, when these changes rolled out, all right, these ones and many like it, you know what I hear all across Facebook, YouTube videos, and even sellers within my student group. I hear things like this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this change that Amazon made. They're so greedy the way they treat sellers. Man, Jeff Bezos. And they go on and on and on and on. Now, I sit back and I watch these things, especially in other groups. It doesn't really happen that much in our student group. I sit back and watch these things because you start to be able to identify mindsets that people have. There are people in this world that are victims. They lay down, they complain, right? Then you have people who are victors. These people, if they say something, they have their moment, then they move forward and they get to work, all right? Victims and victors, especially when it comes to Amazon changes. Trust me, when the next one rolls out, just look at any other Facebook groups that are really popular, the public ones, and you will see hordes of people just losing their mind, pulling their hair out, going gray prematurely, all right? But you will never see myself writing such a post. And here's why. There are multiple reasons why I take the stance that I do when it comes to these things. And that is, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And we say, well, Tim, maybe it doesn't impact your business. Oh, yes, they impact my business. When Amazon decided that they wanted to only have a certain amount of products that I can bring into Amazon, it had tremendous implications for my business. For example, I have close to 200 products, and when they said this is the capped amount, instead of me just being able to just fire randomly inventory in and just be totally fine, now I'm like, oh man, well I have tons of this one that doesn't move very fast and not enough of this one that moves quickly. And now the one product that, or these handful of products that need inventory right now, I can't actually send any inventory in because I don't have the allotment. So they do impact myself. They impact every seller out there, okay? So it's not a matter of the reason I react a certain way that I do is because they don't impact me. They do impact me. Every single one of these changes or every change that has ever happened has impacted me. Let me start off with point number 1 on why it doesn't really even touch my mental. I mean, it doesn't even touch it, okay? Reason number 1, perspective, okay? And the first perspective that I have is I have a business, right? And it makes a ton of sales on Amazon. You maybe have a business or you're thinking about having a business, but you know who else has a business? Yep, Jeff Bezos. Amazon is a business itself. And did you know that many successful business owners, you know what they do? If they want to get better at business, they go learn from other successful business owners. And you know who one of the most successful business owners of all time is? Jeff Bezos. And so what do? They go down and they get his books, right? Like this. Boom. The Everything Store. Jeff Bezos in the Age of Amazon. Amazon Unbound. All right, this is the new one. Brad Stone. Now, why do they read books like that? They want to understand how this man thinks about business. They want to understand how he was able to be so successful because perhaps, just perhaps, they can glean a few things that can make them a little more successful. Now check this out. As an Amazon seller and also an Amazon buyer, because we're all pretty much customers too, did you know that we have an in-depth view of things that the regular business owner doesn't? Why? Because we are in the Amazon business. We are a part of Jeff Bezos' creation, and we get to see when he makes changes. And then the smart person, who's also usually the victor, you know what they do? The opposite of the victim, who complains and cries and whines and doesn't do anything. The victor says, I might be able to learn something here. I might be able to get behind the mind of a very smart business owner, right? I just read his books, so I'm definitely curious. Now, why? That's the first question I say, is why are they rolling out this change? Not from my vantage point, but from them as they're running a business. Why are they running this? So let me go back to our 2 examples. The first one was customer addresses, and we couldn't have access to those anymore. And you know what? Everybody was throwing a fit. But now, why does Amazon decide to not make those available or easily available? Well, what were people doing with those addresses? They were taking all of those addresses and trying to funnel all of those people to make purchases from their own website instead of through Amazon, right? Because they're like, cool, I can make this giant list of my own customers and then I can funnel them over here. How does that impact Jeff Bezos, the CEO? How does that impact Amazon? Well, it funnels customers off. It makes it so that you're using Amazon's platform just as a way to first capture a sale, and then you're diverting it all off. Now, if Jeff Bezos was a non-intelligent business owner, he would never have pivoted. But since Jeff is a very smart guy, what does he say? He says, why would I allow that? I know I wouldn't allow that. And so he makes that change, and thus he says, you know what? Customers that come from this platform, we need you to keep selling on this platform because I did all the heavy legwork, making this thing such a monster and so attractive to the thousands and millions of customers that all you have to do, seller, is get your nice product on that front page and I'll do the rest. All right? So many Amazon sellers were getting just overly greedy. They're like, not only do I want to use your platform, Jeff, and make sales, but once I make a sale, I want to have all their information so that I can then bring them to my own website and cut you out of the deal. So you see why he made that change. It's a smart change. It's a reasonable change. And so when I think about things that, oh, Jeff made it not possible to do that. Okay, so how did I used to use, and how did that impact me? Well, I used to download all the customer data. Then I can upload it to Facebook, make a customer lookalike list, and then I can run ads to them to find people who are also like them. I can run ads to those people, trying to get them to come to my website. I can take them. There was a lot of things that I could do, right? And once he did that, it made it very difficult to do that. But when I asked that question, why, it all made sense. And I couldn't fault the man. Now we roll out our next change. And what's the next change that I said? It is the Amazon storage limit. Now the same question, I say perspective. Okay, we have a very smart business owner, one of the best. I read his books. He's one of the best entrepreneurs of all time. Why did he put a cap on storage limits? Well, what do we know about Amazon? Amazon is growing. Like look at its stock price, okay? Look at how many customers come there, especially now with the whole pandemic and everything. How many more people are shopping online? And because of this, with FBA, right? And the whole reason FBA works is because, and we love FBA is because we were able to just send products to Amazon and then they warehouse it, and then when it sells, they just ship it, okay? And we love it. The next thing you know, they say, like, you can't just send in unlimited inventory. You can send in this much based on what you sell, right? And then people throw a fit. However, why? Why do you make that change? And if you really think about it, it's clear. Amazon, just as we have business constraints that stop us from growing, they do too. And they have to put things in place to make sure Amazon survives. So we know Amazon to have these giant fulfillment centers, huge warehouses, right? And that's where they house all the inventory that we sit in. Those things can't be built overnight. No, they can't be. They take a while to build. And then once they're built, then, they have to do all the hiring, and then you can send in your Amazon products there. But at the pace at which Amazon's popularity has grown, and the pace at which third-party sellers are coming on there, and the pace at which how many customers are moving to Amazon, all of those fulfillment centers started getting packed. So if we think it from our limited view, staring at this one tree instead of the forest, we just like, he is hampering my business and crippling it. I am so upset. When if we look at it from a business perspective and we see what problem is Jeff Bezos trying to solve and how is he solving it, we get a little perspective, we get a little understanding, and then it's up to us to be able to pivot along with his pivots too, okay? So that's the first thing, is look into the mind of the person or the company that's making these changes and then ask yourself, why? Now, here's another thing that I see a lot of people get upset about. And I kind of take a different approach on it, okay? And you might think I'm crazy for this one. At times, Amazon will see a product that is selling well. All right, this is very rarely happens, very rare. So if you're a new seller, don't be thinking like, oh my gosh, if I bring my one little widget, he's going to copy it. No, it happens very rarely. In fact, I'm the only person I know who has seen Amazon actually come to market with an Amazon Basics brand that centered around actually one of my brands and similar to it. Now, a lot of people are like, that is unfair. I can't believe that. I can't believe, they would see a product that might sell well and they think like, maybe we should sell this thing too. Well, if you go anywhere, you go anywhere. If you go to Costco, they do that. Have you heard of Kirkland brand? Yeah, that's Costco's private label brand. And if you go to their toilet paper section, if you go to their garbage bag section, if you go to like their drink section, every single one of those, you know what you'll see? Kirkland brand. And what's also eerily similar is the Kirkland brand is very similar to the popular things that are selling, right? If you go to Target, if you go to Walmart, if you go to Safeway, if you go to all of these places, this is a common business thing. And so when Amazon sees something that's doing well, they think, is this potential to put in our portfolio? Well, let's look at the data we have. I think it is. And they move in, right? And then they set up camp and they try to start selling it. Now, so many people lose their mind over this. They think it's totally unfair. But now let's think again. What are we doing when we go to sell on Amazon? Are we just going onto Amazon and just coming up with our own invention? No, you know what we're doing? We're looking at data points from what other sellers are doing, and then we're coming to market and oftentimes competing with a lot of other people and trying to take business, right? So a higher level version of that is what Amazon does, and it's the same thing every business does. I just named Costco, Walmart, Target, they all do the same thing. So these are just a couple examples of what helps me to be accepting of when Amazon makes changes and how I can navigate it and keep my sanity. And not only that, keep really enjoying selling on Amazon, not feeling that they're this horrible entity that's just taking everything and it's greedy and all this stuff, because it's easy to paint that light. Now, another area or mindset that I have towards these types of Amazon changes that really helps serve me, and I think you should too, is to understand whose sandbox are you playing in? All right, whose sandbox are you playing in? It kind of reminds me of the kid who sits down at the dinner table, and his mom worked really hard to make this meal, and she puts it in front of him. He's like, "I don't want this one. I like it when you do it this way, and that's what I want." Whose dinner table are you sitting at that's giving you the option to even eat that meal, right? It's not your own doing. You showed up with a hungry stomach, young one, right? And so the same thing is with Amazon. Without Amazon, what could we do? All of us who have these really strong Amazon business or people are starting, where is she going to go? All right. So that's what I look for. If we're going to complain about it, then go elsewhere, go find another sandbox, go find another dinner table to eat at. And when you realize there isn't one like it, you'll learn to be a little more content. All right. So again, number one, why is Jeff Bezos making this decision? Is it sound as a business owner? Number two, what other options do we have, and what sandbox are we playing in? And finally, number three, and this is one I really like, is whenever Amazon rolls out changes, it gives me an opportunity to work on my entrepreneurship skills and for my team to build entrepreneurship skills, problem solving, resourcefulness, who can pivot the quickest. Because when these changes come in, they don't just affect one account. They affect all of them. They affect all Amazon sellers. And it's a race to see who can pivot and unlock that key to get to the next level. And so here's an example, the inventory limits one, right? That one's difficult. But what I have found is those who've been able to pivot on this inventory one are able to understand that other people are struggling with it. And if they play their cards right, which I have seen in our behalf on quite a few products now, that others who haven't figured it out yet, how to solve the inventory issues, they run out of stock. And then when we are finally cracking the code on it, we are in stock and we're able to drastically raise our prices. We have some products that used to sell for $30, $40 that are now selling for $60 or $70, just because we were able to use this opportunity to work on our problem solving, our resourcefulness, and grow as a team and as a business owner, okay? And that's going to serve myself and my team far into the future, whether we're on Amazon or not, because it forces us to adapt, to pivot, and to execute and think together as a group and as a team, and then figure things out. And the faster we can do that, the faster we keep winning, okay? Now, I love having the Private Label Master student group because we are able to get information from a lot of people and what they're doing at once who are trying to navigate this. And the ones who kind of start figuring things out and we can roll it out to others, then a lot of the newer ones are able to not even have to go through those mental hurdles, right? They leave it to those who are like the seasoned entrepreneurs. And so it's exciting. It's almost like you're in a race and there's unknown obstacles that are going to come in the race. But if you just keep running in the race, you're going to have a tremendous time if you give the right mindset towards them, and you're going to make a tremendous amount of money. So when I'm running on the race and I see a obstacle come up, number one thing that helps me, what is Jeff Bezos or Amazon doing? Why are they doing this? Does it seem reasonable? And what can I learn from this, right? As a business owner, because I want to learn from them because I read their books and here I have an insider's look. Number two is also the perspective of whose sandbox is it? Where am I going to go if I'm not? In fact, Jeff Bezos, if you want to take 50% instead of 15%, I would say they are happily yours because you have put this out here for us, and I'm appreciative. And number three, what keeps my sanity in these times when there's different changes is it gives us an opportunity, myself and my team, an opportunity to work on entrepreneurship skills, problem solving, resourcefulness, those kinds of things. And it's also exciting because we get to bring solutions down to the students in the Private Label Masters class earlier than when I see other people out there. So this is crucial because it doesn't just matter on when Amazon rolls out changes. This can actually be for your life, for your life when things change, and how to reframe them and how to have different perspectives. Instead of standing at the base of the tree and staring at the tree and being like, this is my huge issue, you're able to step back, see the forest from this angle, from this angle, from this angle, realize how to navigate the forest and get to work and have a happy mindset to it. So when there are changes that happen and they even impact my business, like I said, it's not that I'm immune to these things. Instantly, it's like, okay, problem solving time. Let's go. Okay, why did Jeff make this decision? Makes sense. Okay, it's Jeff's sandbox. He can do whatever the heck he wants to do. Let's roll. And that's how I do it. That's how I approach it. And that's how I recommend you approach it too. Now, if again, you are interested in starting an Amazon business, or you're already an Amazon seller and you want to grow your business, we're here to help. There's always a link in the description where you can watch a 30-minute video. It talks a little bit more about the business model. Schedule a call with my team and I, and we'd see if we can help you reach your goals. You guys, I will see you in the next video.